Hello everybody and welcome back to The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt with your host QED20. We just spoke with the Baron who told us some information as to the whereabouts of Ciri. However, in order to get the full story from him, he wants us to find his daughter and his wife. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So what he's told us to do first, or what he's given us permission to do, is to first investigate the rooms that Ciri and her little friend Gretka occupied to get some clues as to their whereabouts. From there, I'm going to go... Oh, sorry, I got some clues. Sorry, we're going to get some clues as to where his wife and his daughter went. Not so much as to where Ciri and Gretka are, although we are able to do that as well, I believe. So, let's get some candy. I love candy. Witchers love a good candy. But we're going to first explore these rooms. So let's examine this. That's a little harsh, Geralt. Also, look at that majestic flow. Even indoors where there's no wind, his hair just flies and bounces around and is absolutely beautiful. Let's grab this. Letter to Tamara. Let's go ahead and pull up our inventory and read that. We are more like a family. We support each other and help each other survive tough moments, grapple with the past. For each of us has a past. So you needn't worry about anyone digging into yours. We've got a rule. Never ask more than someone offers on their own. The past doesn't matter to us, unlike only the future does. That and our common fight against evil and depravity, against perverse and loathsome practices of all kinds. I wonder who's that from. Anyway, anything more in this room to investigate? We should see something red pop up if that's the case. But in the process, let's just loot all these things. So pearl is a magic item that we can use for crafting. We can also sell it for a good chunk of key. We got a key and some incense. That's a good... Oh, we got some saffron scent. Let's go ahead and follow that. Saffron, by the way, if you're not familiar, is a fantastic little herb you can add to your cooking that really adds a unique flavor. But that's more for a cooking show and not so much for me to discuss. Where is that scent going to? Did we lose it? We went back to the Baron's room. Okay, so it goes downstairs. Let's go ahead and keep following that. Good old saffron. Geralt's just doing what his nose wants to do, you know? His nose knows. His nose knows everything. I don't really need some sheepskin. Don't really need the sheepskin. Again, what's with all the sheepskin? Anyway, I don't see anything in here. I think we followed the wrong path. Oh, yeah, we went into the other door. So many things to loot. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna take it all. Woo. Okay, that's probably enough looted stuff. So we unlocked that using that key that we found. And we found an altar of some sort. Let's take a look at that. So it's an altar to the Eternal Fire, which is the religious sect in the Northern Realms. Let's grab a prayer. Let's go ahead and quickly take a look at that. Is that a quest item? No, it's not. Okay. And let's keep moving. So we got a prayer. And there's not a whole lot else we can see here, unless I missed something in the room when I was looting it. No, it looks that's about it. Okay, let's get out of here. Let's investigate the other leads that we have in the Baron's home. So let's just meander ourselves back upstairs. Oh, what's in here? No, there's one of the Baron's henchmen. Dwarven spirit, that's always a useful alchemical ingredient to have. And let's go ahead and run back upstairs. And from here, we're going to take a look at a few things. Okay, so here's what looks like to be the kitchen. Anything here for us to take a look at? Oh, look, Gretka. The one and only. Well, that's awfully kind of you, of her. What else did Ciri say?
Rozmawiałaś trochę z Ciri, prawda?
Prawda?
Mówiła na przykład, dokąd się wybiera, albo czego tu szuka?
Mówiła, że szuka ciebie i czarodziejki, ale ty jesteś tutaj, to chyba cię nie znalazła. No, ale może przynajmniej pomogła temu swojemu przyjacielowi.
What friend?
Ciri chciała pomóc jakiemuś przyjacielowi? Wiesz jakiemu?
No jak to jakiemu? Jej przyjacielowi. Powiedziała, że jest w tarapatach i ona musi go uratować.
That's awfully nice of her. Do you know where Ciri is now, though?
Nie wiesz, gdzie jest Ciri?
Nie, któregoś dnia jak przyszłam do niej ze śniadaniem, to już jej nie było. Baron powiedział, że wyjechała.
Nie pytałaś dokąd?
Pytałam, ale powiedział, że jestem za mała i nie muszę wiedzieć. Ale Ciri zostawiła mi prezent.
Jaki?
So interesting enough, it wasn't I wouldn't understand, but that I should not, or I will not, or that he won't divulge that information.
Schowaj go głęboko i nie
Because she
pokażę
shouldn't
nikomu,
know,
jest
not
wiele wart.
because she wouldn't know. Anyway, thanks, Gretka.
Miłej zabawy.
Ja się nie bawię, ja pomagam.
Sure. You do you, okay? Let's keep exploring the rest of the rooms on this floor. There's one here.
A więc tu nocowała Ciri.
Oh, Ciri was here.
Ciri musiała nosić te ubrania, kiedy tu była. Wygląda na to, że wyjechała w pośpiechu.
And she's also left the natural obscurity of
Jasna
curses.
natura klątw. Lydia van Bredewort. Skąd Ciri wzięła coś takiego?
Why does she need that? What is this?
Wączek. Ciri się raczej nim nie bawiła, ale Małgosia to co innego.
So we got ourselves. Is this still locked? Yeah, we can't access that. So we got ourselves the top, which might be Gretka's top. So let's go ahead and give it to her now.
Geralt!
Yes, it's me. I found this toy in Ciri's room. It's for you.
Poznajesz to?
O ja, mój bączek! Skąd go masz?
Znalazłem w pokoju Ciri. Jest twój?
Ciri mi go wystrugała, jak mi kiedyś było smutno. Bawiłyśmy się czasem w jej pokoju. Szkoda, że musiała jechać.
Oh man, Ciri's such a champ. I'll see you later.
Dzięki. Miłej zabawy.
Ja się nie bawię, ja pomagam.
Enjoy your top there. Okay, so looks like we have to go further upstairs to investigate another room. Aha.
Drewniany świecznik. Ma łamaną nogę.
Looks like there used to be a painting here.
Ściana ma inny kolor. Jakby jeszcze niedawno coś tu wisiało. Może tamten obraz? Wielkością pasuje.
And let's take a look at this because that
Baron i jego żona
looks like it used to be there.
wyglądają na szczęśliwych.
Moving it away should reveal something.
A tu?
Aha.
Ktoś zasłonił dziurę w ścianie. Ciekawe, co jest po drugiej stronie.
Well, let's fulfill your fantasy there, Geralt, and take a look.
O, to ciekawe. Ten kawałek drewna wygląda jak łamana noga tamtego świecznika. To nie może być przypadek.
Seems like we're unraveling the mystery here
Tu do walki.
bit by bit.
Poszukam śladów.
Looks like a bit of a fight was had. But as to what that fight was, I'm not sure. Oh, there's something else here.
Świeże kwiaty. Jakby miał nadzieję, że mogą wrócić w każdej chwili.
Baron has some lovely flowers for his wife. Oh, there's something more by the candle.
O, jest reszta świecznika. I plamy po winie. Ktoś rozbił butelkę. Evrelux tu są. Dobry rocznik. Długo nie wietrzeje. Ciekawe, dokąd prowadzi ślad.
Let's go ahead and follow the scent then. Maybe it'll lead us to our next clue. Detective Geralt on his way. Okay, so we're gonna go downstairs. Oh,
Cholera, trop się urywa.
something is hidden underneath the floorboards. A talisman.
Do tego okadzona dymem jałowca. Wygląda jak ludowy talizman ochronny. Ciekawe, przed czym miał chronić. Chyba nie ma tu więcej nic ciekawego.
So let's go talk to the Baron about what we found so far.
Rozejrzałeś się już?
I sure have. I found it all.
W pokoju Tamary znalazłem lalkę. Możesz mi coś o niej powiedzieć?
O lalce? A co może być ciekawego w lalce?
Może być związana z obrzędami czarnej magii. Skąd Tamara ją miała?
Czarna magia chybaś zgłupiał. Sam ją dla niej zrobiłem. Miała wtedy ze 4 czy 5 lat. Byliśmy na targu w Wyzimie i zobaczyła czarodziejkę Tris Merigold.
Hey, our old friend.
Uparła się, żeby mieć lalkę jak czarodziejka. Wtedy nie było mnie stać na takie rzeczy, więc własnoręcznie zrobiłem zabawkę.
Well, the resemblance is uncanny, because I hate Triss.
A, więc to Tris. No tak, teraz widzę podobieństwo.
Prawda? Ząb czasu już ją trochę nadgryzł, ale ciągle wygląda niczego sobie.
I'm sure it does there, Mr. Baron.
Czekami możesz zostać lalkarzem.
There was a sign of a fight in the room. Can you tell me anything about
W
that?
pokoju znalazłem ślady walki. Wiesz coś o tym?
Ślady walki? O czym ty mówisz?
Przypuszczam, że ktoś napadł na kogoś, pewnie na twoją żonę albo córkę. Chciała się bronić, chwyciła za świecznik, ale nie trafiła napastnika, tylko zrobiła dziurę w ścianie. Potem jeszcze się szarpali.
Most likely they got into a bit of a tussle, and the Baron decided, or maybe it wasn't even the Baron that decided to fight. Maybe it was his wife that defended herself.
Może ktoś z twoich ludzi coś słyszał.
Wszystkich po 3 razy wypytywałem. Czy czegoś nie widzieli? Ale oczywiście nikt nic nie wie.
And also there was a spilled bottle of wine on the landing.
Na całym półpiętrze śmierdzi winem. Wiesz coś o tym?
Pewnie któryś z moich ludzi. Ochlej mordy jedne.
Dajesz ludziom Evrelus?
Oj, kurwa. To nawet ja mogłem to rozlać. Mówiłem ci, tamtej nocy byłem pijany. Ale co to ma za znaczenie? W kasztelu jest pełno miejsc.
I think marinated is a very interesting choice of descriptor for your drunken state. And lastly, do you know anything about this amulet that I found?
Dajesz ten talizman?
Tak. Aneczka nosiła go ostatnio.
Wiesz skąd go miała?
Pojęcia nie ma.
Nie ma tu gdzieś w okolicy jakiejś czarownicy albo guślarki?
Guślarz jest. Stary dziwak.
Oh, looks like we're gonna have to go talk to the Peller.
Czarownica mieszka w Podgajach, ale o niej niewiele wiem, bo się niedawno sprowadziła. Jeśli Aneczka miała do kogoś chodzić, to raczej do guślarza, a nie do tej czarownicy, bo nie ufała obcym.
Well, then I'm gonna go see the Peller.
Muszę sobie uciąć pogawędkę z tym guślarzem.
Żebyś się nie zdziwił. Z nim się ledwo da dogadać. Powiadają, że w młodości zabił własnego ojca siekierą i wtedy zbzikował. Podobno widzi duchy i pierdoli się z kozą.
That's
Nie
a
obchodzi
bit
mnie
of a
jego życie
shame
osobiste. Chcę tylko
to
zapytać,
kill his
czy talizman-
father. All right. Well, let's go do that. But before we go, I was gonna go double check. Oh no, I wasn't gonna go double check Siri's room. I was gonna go read the book that she had in her room, The Natural Obscurity of Curses. To my dear friends Philippa and Anna. Philip and Anna, never mind. From Count Laguevre, Minister of Culture for the Kingdom of Temeria, Vizima 1265. Whoever thinks curses are only manifestations of one being's ill will towards another is sorely mistaken. Shockingly, commonplace are reports of curses cast unwittingly on oneself or on an objects in one's immediate environment. The consequences of doing so can be difficult to predict. In many cases, they lead to harm or even the death of the person afflicted by the curse, or of the people spending time with the object or being on which the curse fell. That is why it is so essential to take preventative measures to safeguard oneself as thoroughly as possible against the casting of curses. As an absolute minimum, Madame Amelia Veracruz Leon recommends cleansing oneself of all negative thoughts, striving to be at one with the world, and achieving harmony between body and mind. Sounds like a pretty shitty self-help book, I'd say.
Dedykacja dla barona i jego żony. Mieli w Wyzimie wysoko postawionych znajomych.
Oh, we just got a bunch of experience points for that. Cool, I ain't complaining. Let's go see the Peller now. So before we do so, I'm gonna go just make sure that's my active quest. Okay, so we're gonna find the Peller's hut. So we're quite a low level for everything, so after we find the Peller's hut, I'm gonna probably do some side quests to boost my my level. I'm almost at level 4, but ideally I like to be at a much higher level. Or at least an adequate level to perform to do all the quests that we have in on our agenda right now. Geralt's just running, always running from his past, running to his future. The man must have the quads of a god. That was completely unnecessary. So, let's skedaddle out of Crow's Perch here. It's raining. All pretty. Reminds me of home. Home being Vancouver. Yay, Vancouver. Shout out to the West Coast. Shout out to Northern Lion. Just cause, you know, maybe Senpai noticed me. Please. Please, Northern Lion, notice me. So, we're gonna find the Peller. The Peller is a sort of mystical man. They're not quite shaman. Well, I guess they might be very much like shaman. They don't have any actual magic powers, but they have the ability to perform magic through rituals and spells, or not so much spells, but rituals in which they must, you know, collect a certain amount of objects or sacrifice something, etc., etc. All right, I'll come talk to you later, lady. She seemed thoroughly upset. Let's go ahead and ride through here. We found Black Bow. Oopsie daisy. Come on, Roach. So we're just gonna go ahead and cut through this meadow because that's what the minimap dictates for us. Oh, come on, there could have been... The path tracking of the minimap is kind of abysmal at times. But here, we found the Pellar side. But before we talk to the Pellar, just to stay on the safe side, we're gonna save. Or we cannot save our game right now. These guys don't look impressed. Leave or die, homies.
Wynoście się stąd. Natychmiast.
A myślałem, że dziś będzie dzień bez trupa. Słyszałem, że czarownicy dobrze płacą za składniki z rzadkich istot. Ciekawe, ile dostanę za jego oczy.
Well, you'd have to get them out of my cold dead body first, which is highly unlikely. Oh boy. Swinging and I'm not missing. Oh. Ouch. That hurt. We're gonna go ahead and use some Swallow and some Tawny Owl there to regenerate our stamina a bit faster. And get a... Oh man. Okay, never mind. We got a little too cocky with that fight, so let's try that one more time. Unfortunately, I'm a little bit rusty because I haven't actually fought anything recently. So, and I'm also 3 levels down from where these guys are. So that's not too much of a problem right now. But you know, ideally, I'd like to be a little bit more powerful. The loading screen for this game is hilarious because there's one little tip that says, "In the time of the white frost, do not eat the yellow snow," which is, you know, horribly immature, but it's also pretty funny. Also, I'm going to apologize because I'm running this game from a standard hard drive, not from an SSD. I have yet to install an SSD into my rig. I don't know why. I didn't think it'd be that much of a difference, but my roommate / my YouTube buddy Themis has one, and it's significantly faster with one. So that's next on my upgrade list. I mean, it was either this or a 1080p panel, or it was either an SSD or a 1080p panel, and I figured, what the hell? Why not get a new panel and have 2 monitors going? Also 1080p. That's all. Never a bad choice. Let's go ahead and do that one more time. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to see if I can meditate for an hour. Yep. So I replenished everything. They're just like, what the hell are you doing there for an hour? Okay, we'll skip all this so we don't have to go through all this junk again. Leave or die, please. Okay. So we'll just go ahead and do that. I'll just jump on Roach here. And I'm going to use a bit of a strategy. Oh boy. So we're going to go ahead and use our Roach strategy where we just use Roach to take out all these guys. As we do a little bit more damage, actually significantly more damage on Roach. So see, look at that. So we're going to go ahead and grab a little bit of Tawny Owl there. Axie our horse, so our fear level goes down, and then rinse and repeat. Actually, we're going to ride off here really quick. Blast down some Quen, so we have a bit more of a protective layer on us. And then do the same. There we go. Almost all done. So he's almost done. He's definitely done, but just to finish off the last guy, I'd much prefer to do it by hand. Like that. So I can get a sweet finisher move like that. Sorry, buds. We'll grab all your cool stuff. Small blackjack, useless. Dried fish, some bolts, no complaints there. Let's go talk to the Pellar now that we've cleared out those guys. Hello, Mr. Peller.
Jest tam kto? Otwórz, jest bezpiecznie.
Kogo diabli niosą? Czego chce?
Potrzebuję pomocy.
Yes, sir.
Człowiek, a jak wilk. Siwy, choć nie stary. To na niego guślarz czekał.
And there's our Peller, a man of mystery. Also slightly kooky, but also able to do cool little spells and stuff, like I mentioned. So this will be fun. So you were expecting me?
Czekałeś na mnie?
Kości mi tak rzekły. Przyjdą ci, co śmierdzą gwałtem i śmiercią, ale wilk ich przegoni. Biały wilk i przyszedł. Wróżba nigdy nie kłamie.
Well, that's awesome, but I also need your help.
Poznajesz to? Zrobiony z drewna świerkowego i pachnie jałowcem. Miał kogoś chronić?
It's made specifically for Anna.
Czyna, kozią krwią skropiona, dymnicą i jałowcem okadzona. Dla Anny na ochronę.
Protection from what?
Czyli miał ją chronić. Przed czym właściwie?
Złe moce Anny otoczyły. We władanie wziąć chciały. Stara magia, co z niebytu pochodzi, z czarnych źródeł wypływa.
Stara magia? Możesz konkretniej?
O tym gadać nie za.
Old magic.
Guślarz mógł dać tylko coś na ochronę. Nic
And
więcej
how does old magic differentiate from, you know, new magic per se? Did you make it?
Ty go zrobiłeś?
Guślarz zrobił. Jak dziady uczyli nad martwą wodą w świetle pełni. To dobry amulet. Dobrze chronił. Nie trzeba było zdejmować.
That's a shame. Well, I'm looking for Anna and her daughter.
Anna i jej córka zaginęły. Wiesz, gdzie są?
Guślarz nie wie. Ale duchy mogą wiedzieć. Guślarz wróżbę postawi, duchów zapyta.
Mogą być i duchy. Bylebym wiedział, gdzie dalej szukać.
Exactly. I just want to find them.
Szukać. Na poszukiwania najlepsza księżniczka.
Co za księżniczka?
A księżniczka? Koza. Uciekł.
Oh. Yes, I'd also name my goat Princess.
Przestraszyła. Możemy wrócić do rzeczy.
Goats are hilarious. I love when you scare them and they just tense up and fall down. When I went to visit my grandparents in Poland, they had a little bit of a farm with a few goats, and I remember I would walk up to them and go, eh, and they would just freeze up and go, meh, and then fall down to the ground. It was great. I'll find your goat. Will you help?
Pomożesz mi, jeśli ją przyprowadzę?
Księżniczko, gdzieś się podziała?
Dobra, pójdę po nią.
Dzwoneczek lubi. Dzwońcie jej, to przyjdzie.
Oh my goodness.
Tylko się
What a strange fetch quest.
I dzikich malin.
Zawsze na nie uważam podstępne bestie.
Yes, I will watch out for those raspberries. Okay, I got a new quest item. So go ahead and do that. I'm gonna go run in and quickly save. And try to find Princess. Oh, poor old Princess. Where can she be? Oh, I see something.
Pokaż, co umie.
Come on, wolf. You're dead to me. Also, to the world. Oh, a few more wolves to take care of, I see. Get back our Quen. These wolves are pretty easy. I don't really have to act. Where's the last one there? Don't have to be too careful around these guys. There we go. Princess, ringing your bell. Oh no. This is somewhat tedious. Where is she? Princess, oh princess. Oh, he's dead. Huh. There we go. Forgot to use my Witcher senses.
Tu jesteś.
Come along now, princess.
Chodź, wracamy do guślarza.
Come along.
A tak, wiadomo, że poziomki są ciekawsze niż wiedźmy. No chodźże!
Geralt's getting visibly frustrated.
Muszę dzwonić, żebyś za mną szła? Tędy, łaskawa pani.
I love his sass to the goat. I mean, it's a fucking goat. Oh no, don't go away.
Gdzieś ty polazła?
Where are you going? Princess. What are you doing? Why would you go that way?
Jedź. Uciekaj, głupi zwierzę.
Uh-oh. Now I have to fight a bear for your ass. You should be pretty grateful. Ouch. Got a little too cocky there. I'm probably not going to try to parry the guy. Whoa! That is one powerful bear. Let's go ahead and do that. Blast it with a little bit of Igni. Once I have the chance. Does a fair amount of damage. Okay, good. We got it on fire. So let's go ahead and pull up our Quen again for, you know, protecting us. Oh god. Again, we got... Come on, bear. So, have you guys heard of the whole Berenstein Bears time paradox, where many people remember it being spelled S-T-E-I-N, whereas the actual book is spelled B... it's the last part of Berenstein is spelled S-T-A-I-N. I was in the camp where I fondly remembered it as S-T-E-I-N, and yet... Let me just check this first. And yet it actually is S-T-A-I-N, which is very bizarre. I saw this on Reddit once, on an Ask Reddit thread, where people were talking about things that are, or conspiracy, modern day conspiracies that they believed in, and this is one of them, and I thought it was hilarious, because I was like, holy crap, that's actually, that's what I remember too. I remember being spelled S-T-E-I-N, Berenstain. Not Beren, well, Berenstein, but it's actually spelled S-T-A-N. Anyway, that was a bit of an aside. Come on, princess. We're almost home. Almost home. Princess? There you go. I brought your stupid goat back. Now help me.
Koziu moja, koziu miła.
He really loves his goat there. Yeah, that's right. Give her a good old scratch. Will you help me now, please?
Cieszę się razem z tobą, ale trochę mi się śpieszy. Anna i Tamara mogą być w niebezpieczeństwie.
Biały wilk pomógł. Guślarz też pomoże.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Trzeba krwi, żywej istoty.
Well, I hope he doesn't have to sacrifice the goat after all that work.
Dobra, zaraz wrócę.
Geralt's gotta go find some fresh blood. It's practically dropping everything it's chewing. Come on, princess, get your shit together.
Może być?
Also, another bit of good news, I'm getting my pop filter in tomorrow, so no more, you know, accentuated P's and B's and all that, so I'll sound a little bit clearer and less annoying if you're wearing headphones, because I find that when I listen to it through speakers, you can't really hear the pop. But let's see what this guy does. We have a rat, and he's gonna swing it around a little bit. It's gonna have a good time before dying. And the Peller's gonna pull out his trusty knife, slice it a touch, make a circle.
Czy
I wonder what that could mean.
Takie, co nie żyje, a nie umarło.
Strange. You spoke of a child. Whose child?
wspomniałeś o dziecku? Czyim?
Anny
Anna była w ciąży?
była i poroniła.
Oh,
I baron nic nie powiedział?
we're unraveling the mystery even further.
Dzieciu może nie pamiętał, a może pamiętać nie chciał.
You know all this how exactly?
Anna ci o tym powiedziała? Była tutaj po wszystkim?
Nie było Anny. To wróżba powiedziała.
Świetnie, teraz mam pewność, że to prawda.
Nie wasza wiara czyni wróżbę prawdziwą, lecz wróżba was do prawdy doprowadzić może.
Well, does the Baron have anything to do with this?
Baron miał coś wspólnego z poronieniem swojej żony?
Człowiek to gwałtowny, od gorzałki nie stroni.
A po gorzałce pewnie puszczają mu nerwy. Znęcał się nad rodziną? Anna była u ciebie, musiałeś coś zauważyć.
Guślarz stary, ślepy, ale księżniczka przyszła i w rękę ją polizała.
I co z tego?
Yeah, I'm
Mądre to
struggling to make sense of that
tylko
too.
do tych przychodzi, co cierpią.
So the child, what happened to it?
I co się stało z dzieckiem?
Well, apart from the miscarriage.
W porządku je zakopali. No to się obudziło. Błąka się. Zemsty szuka.
Poroniec.
Oh no, a botchling.
Biały wilk.
These things are beautiful.
Mądry wilk. Złapie porońca. Poroniec pomoże. Zaprowadzi do bliskich.
Porońce wysysają krew z ciężarnych i pożerają płody, a nie pomagają.
Bo przeklęte. A wiedźmini klątwy odczyniają. Jak się białemu wilkowi nie powiedzie, to krew przyniesie. Krew zawsze krew odnajdzie.
Okay, so how can I lift this curse?
Słyszałem, że jednemu wiedźminowi udało się kiedyś odczarować porońca, ale sam nigdy tego nie robiłem. Wiem, że trzeba go zakopać pod progiem.
I imię nadać. Aim Roin odprawić.
Rytuał nadania imienia? To elfi zwyczaj.
Ludzki, elfi, krasnoludzki, pradawny, duchom rasa obca, nie ma znaczenia. Ducha obłaskawisz, duch ci pomoże. Zapytasz, odpowie, drogę wskaże.
Okay, so I need to know where the botchling is first.
Cokolwiek zrobię, muszę najpierw znaleźć porońca.
O północy szukajcie, tam, gdzie grób pusty.
Jeśli twoje przeczucia są prawdziwe, baron powinien wiedzieć, gdzie jest grób.
Alright, so we're going to read the bestiary to learn more about botchlings just now. So let's pull up our glossary of bestiary and then let's read about some botchlings. So saying a botchling's ugly is like saying shit's not particularly tasty. Can't say it's a lie, but it doesn't exactly convey the whole truth either. Lambert, Witcher, the Wolf School. Lambert's a pretty fucking awesome guy. Anyway, botchlings are perhaps the most repulsive creatures a Witcher will ever have the displeasure of meeting. Born of dead, unwanted babies discarded without a proper ritual, their appearance is that of a partially decayed fetus, their unformed flesh twisted with a hate, fear, and malice. These hideous creatures feed on the blood of pregnant women, driven by a mad hunger that most often leads to their victims' deaths. Interesting. So we're gonna have to go take care of that. But before we do that, let's do funeral pyres. That's a nice quest that we can do that's currently at our level. So come here, Roach. Where's the nearest one? Hopefully we're not too far. Oh, they're a bit of a ways away. So let's head to actually Blackbow's closer, and then we'll just we'll quick fast travel. And then, whoopsie daisy, take care of that real quick, and then we'll go on ahead to talking to the Baron about the botchling. Lovely old botchling. You guys are gonna love the botchling. It's actually one of my favorite parts with the Baron, but I won't say too much more, you know, for the sake of not spoiling too much stuff. See, there it is. When the time of the white frost comes, do not eat the yellow snow. I love that little loading screen tip. As if it wasn't obvious enough from the get-go. Okay. Come here, my friend. Come here, Roachy Roach. And let's go ahead and take care of those funeral pyres. So we'll go this way. Ride through the beautiful Velen countryside. And see what that priest of the eternal fire wanted us to do. That was a pretty easy kill. Oh, we got some rod fiends to take care of? Yeah, get off. So we're gonna have to grab our silver sword for this one. So rod fiends are kind of gross. They're necrophages, so they're dead beings, and they feast on the dead, just like ghouls. See, now they've reached this point where they stink. And if you hit them enough, they're gonna get to the point where they explode, just like that. So now we've added their entry to our bestiary. So we're gonna go ahead and burn all these bodies. How pleasant is that? But before we do that, I'm gonna go find our little dead rot fiend friend, and I'll just loot that first. And let's just go ahead and pull out our Igni. We totally missed. Okay. That's that. Let's just run away so Roach can magically teleport and we can jump on him. Her, I don't know. It. The horse. I don't actually know what gender this horse is. I think Roach is a name that Geralt gives to all of his horses regardless of gender. And that's, like I mentioned, was covered in the book. There's a bear there. I'm going to leave it alone. And so, we don't know which iteration of horse that he has, but surely it can't be the same one that he's had, you know, ever since the beginning. Great, ghouls. Love ghouls. But they're level 2 ghouls, so they're not going to be too tough. Just go ahead and re-Quen here. So ghouls at one point will start recovering their health, as you can see there. They'll start glowing like that and recovering their health. So you gotta take them out pretty quickly. Otherwise, well, the strategy that I employ is that I take them out one by one, so I don't have to deal with them recovering health. I mean, I still have to deal with it, but as long as I'm taking on one by one, then it's not so much of a big deal. And I think we had one more to take care of. This one's a little bit tougher. It's a level 4. Still not too tough, though. I just quickly slide away. There we go. Finish off this body pile. A little bit of Igni for a delicious barbecue. But not actually delicious. It's kind of gross. Roachy Roach, where'd you go, Roach? Let's take care of that last pyre. Moving on. Riding my horse through the meadows of Velen. Loving the graphical fidelity of this game. It's so pretty. Oh snap, it's so pretty. This is by far my game of the year. Game of the century, even. She looks kind of sad. I'm not gonna really investigate this. I don't know if there's anything here. There's no quest marker, so I don't think so. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, this, I think, you know, my top 5 for last year, for 2015, is definitely spearheaded by The Witcher 3, followed by Pillars of Eternity. I really like Tomb Raider, but I think, no, that was 2013. I just played it last year. I actually haven't compiled a favorite list, so I have to do that at some point. Oh, let's go ahead and Quen a little bit here, because I didn't do that earlier. Ow. See, this is the problem when you take on too many. Some of them will start healing in the meantime, which is a little bit annoying. Okay. Who are you? Yeah, you can stop cheering. We beat them.
Kurwa, jak nie kapłani, to trupojady. Wyjeżdżam z tego przeklętego miejsca.
That's probably not a bad idea there, bud.
Pani?
Umówiliśmy się jak zwykle, ale na większą dostawę.
Uh-oh.
Myślałem, taki dobry klient.
Priest has got a bit of a scheme on his hands. So we're still talking about the priest of eternal fire, right?
Cały czas mówimy o kapłanie wiecznego ognia?
No raczej. Tym buraczkowym chujom nie można ufać. Zamawiał fistech prima sort. 3 razy wszystko było w porządku.
Oh.
A za 4 jego ludzie rzucili się na nas z nożami. Chcieli nas wygryźć z interesu. Mnie zepchnęli do dołu. Między trupy. Pewnie myśleli, że góle załatwią resztę.
Oh, so they screwed up, and the secret is out now.
Spalić zwłoki i zatrzeć ślady.
The eternal fire enjoys his fist deck, which is kind of like a cocaine or heroin in the Witcher world.
Nic. Zapalenie żywych mi nie płaci.
A więc prawdę mówili. Mutanty, nie mutanty, ale swój kodeks mają. Dzięki, Wiedźminie.
No worries, bud. Let's burn the rest of the bodies, and then go ahead and talk to our friend,
Teraz wystarczy użyć igni.
and probably kill him, because he's a bit of a dick. Come here, Roach. Let's go finish him off. Where is he exactly? So... I cannot see him. Oh, there it is. So, we just have to ride all the way that way. So let's go ahead and do that. Seeing Velen completely war-torn is a very interesting experience because, as I mentioned in the beginning of my playthrough, and I'll mention again time after time, I find that this game's description of the heroes and the you know savageries committed during war is phenomenal. It truly is something that that the developers did really well. They've nailed medieval warfare and the cataclysms and all the horror behind it, and I really appreciate that, and I find it super interesting. I'm not much of a history buff, but I do appreciate that it is there, and that again, this is a very faithful recreation of you know, Polish and Eastern European countryside, along with, you know, a very faithful recreation of all the lore and whatnot that Slavic people have. And so it's interesting seeing all these monsters, especially my favorites, Leshens and Strigas, realized, because, you know, I'm a big fan of lore, and growing up, you know, hearing all these legends and now finally seeing them in 3D before my eyes is really cool. Anyway, let's talk to the priest.
Jak tam, Wiedźminie? Zadanie wykonane?
I sure have.
Zająłem się grobami. To było interesujące zlecenie. Pewien trup okazał się całkiem żywy i całkiem rozmowny.
Oh no.
Co masz na myśli?
Jednemu z handlarzy fistechem udało się przeżyć i opowiedział mi bardzo ciekawą historię.
Chętnie ją od ciebie wykupię. Na wyłączność.
Well, you know what? I don't take bribes.
Można mnie wynająć, ale nie kupić.
Cóż, tak czy inaczej, najtaniej będzie cię zabić.
You can try.
To Wiedźmin, ale we trzech przecież damy mu radę.
Like I said, I'd like to see you try. A little bit of Quinn. Oh. There we go. We took out the priest really quickly. I didn't expect him to be a very proficient fighter. Now we just have to take out his guards. Oh, our sword is a little bit damaged. We'll have to... Ouch. And we'll take out the last one now. And that's it. That takes care of that. Let's, oh, I cut his legs off. That is an amazing finisher. I know that one of the free DLCs was a bunch of free new finishers, so I don't know which ones are new, but I think that might be one of the newer ones. Cool. So we took care of that. So we're gonna go talk to the Bloody Baron, find this botchling, and take care of it. on the next episode. So once again, thanks for tuning in, everybody. My name is QED20, and stay frosty.